had technical difficulties. We're back. We're live. We had technical difficulties. My phone's about to die, so we will wrap this up. Alex, go. Wrap it up for us.
1 out of 10.
I'd say it was fine. There were things I enjoyed. There were things I didn't enjoy. I'd say like 6.5 out of 10. Good performances, some good tense moments, but overall, I'm probably not going to remember this movie within the next 2 weeks, to be honest with you. So
fair.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 4 because I fell asleep during another movie the other day, which I wish I was awake for. It was a classic Italian film, a lot more in depth, a lot more dope. You watch this stuff, just a fucking another Blumhouse cash grab.
He's a fucking liar. Probably about a 7. It was entertaining. I was entertained, especially, when it got really intense there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm glad we saw it in the theaters.
Definitely glad I saw it in the theaters. One more thing I definitely could have done without was Jamie Lee Curtis being like Rambo grandma. I liked her being tough, and I think it would have been just as effective if she would have just had like one gun in her home and didn't have it like
arsenal.
Yeah, it didn't need to be
hanging out with fucking Migos back here.
It didn't need to be like her house didn't need to be super sophisticated with shutters. She could have been just as strong, but like a normal, like a real person who grew up with trauma, living in a real house and
quick,
being like.
By the way, her kitchen island moves. If you didn't know that in the first act, it moves a million times.
And they leave the remote out for fucking Michael to just pick up and turn it.
She has a panic room in her house. Her whole house is a
4.
Her whole house is a panic room. She has an arsenal of weapons, and I think it would have been just as effective if she would have been still just as strong and like still preparing her entire life. But she didn't need to be like seriously like Rambo.
America.
She was Rambo.
Yeah, I just don't buy the fact like the girl from the first Halloween from 1978 became
grew
this.
up.
The original is fresh in my brain from like 3 days ago.
Fucking bump stock grandma's just ready to take down Michael. Like,
seriously,
nope, that's not how it works.
She is bump stock grandma. That's a good term for her.
I think she'd definitely be like willing to whoop some ass, but not to this level.
Not to that level at all.
Not to this level.
But
like, this was,
my grandma shouldn't be allowed to drive a car. Your grandma shouldn't be allowed to have a fucking automatic rifle. Killing motherfuckers can run down the street.
I tend to be a little bit closer to Josh and Alex's rating for it. I would probably say somewhere between 5 and 4 out of 10. Just it was average. It might be above average. I need to like sleep on it more. It wasn't the worst, right? Halloween Resurrection was the worst. I think that Halloween 5 is the second worst, and then Halloween H2O and this one are probably even with each other. And I think that like when I watch Halloween H2O, I go, oh my god, this is so late 90s, and they're just doing all the 90s like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer tropes, and I think that people will look back at this one and say the same thing. Oh, how 2018. It's got the 2018
fucking
look
rave with the high school.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, electronic music. Oh,
right,
wow.
yeah. I think that
flashing lights.
I don't think it'll age well.
No.
I think it's at best case scenario above average.
You ultimately I was enjoying myself just drinking a beer, eating popcorn.
Right.
Recline, chilling, like you can
If
have a
it
good
wasn't
time.
Halloween, I'd give it maybe
After
a
Nelly
5.
stopped feeding me fries, I lost interest.
I think
saying.
It'll probably take a few days for me to really fully form like a solid opinion.
I
on this,
agree.
but like.